front court is going to be formidable. It's going to be tough to get things at the rim against USC.
DJ Karstensen will toss it up. Isaiah Whaley tried to say, and Evan Mobley jump it up, and USC control. So away we go. Good look inside. Peterson immediately with the two-handed stuff from Evan Mobley. As we check out our starting lineups, are presented by Superstart Batteries. Cole Booknight, Martin Whaley, and Sanogo, the freshman, getting the start. And it'll be Edey, White, Mobley, and Peterson. Worth noting, Ethan Anderson is not going to play in this game for USC as Booknight knocks down the jumper.
I always love it when we talk about a guy in the open and he actually makes some shots. It makes it seem like I know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Right?
Well, that positively affects the old plus minus.
Yeah, that's right. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Take me out.
Peterson feed inside. Isaiah Mobley gives out to younger brother Evan. Jump stop, turns, flips it up and in. It's just really smooth, isn't it?
It's such a big time move. I mean, I feel like if I'm going to compare him to someone, I'll say he's got some Colin Gillespie to his game. The sit down, the pivot, left shoulder, right hook, right shoulder, left hook. He's got it all, but it's really simple.
RJ Cole handling here. And they find Booknight, the sophomore from Brooklyn. Toss down low, Sanogo kick out. Ooh, and a shot clock violation. I'm sure Dan Hurley's not going to be really pleased with that one. Meanwhile, mentioned Dan Hurley, but Andy Enfield, 8th season as USC head coach. He came after a couple of years at Florida Gulf Coast, and really simply, he's presided over the best stretch of basketball they really could argue in the history of the program.
And I would say quietly. I think it's one of those things where we haven't really seen them enough in prime time. Let's just be honest. I mean, they're on the West Coast, and that was something we discussed with him. But the hottest stretch, the hottest 5 years in program history, and we're not talking enough about them. You have a top 10 pick in Okongwu, and now you bring another guy in Evan Mobley. It's been impressive, the stretch he's got, and the hope is that he can continue to keep it going, because it is a challenge on the West Coast, especially with Gonzaga kind of being the class of basketball on the West Coast.
Look at that stretch. Last 5 years, more wins than Florida, Wisconsin, Syracuse,
I think
Ohio State as well.
Wisconsin's the one that sticks out to me, because that's just been one of those programs that always seems to be in the mix.
No doubt. Peterson puts it on the floor. Finger roll is good. Drew Peterson coming off 19 and 5 in 30 minutes, and he did it inside and outside in their win against BYU.
He plays with a lot of confidence, and that's what you ask for. You get some of these experienced players, these transfers in, you want them to come in with swagger and confidence, because it helps some of the young guys along the way.
Whaley jumper, that's too strong. Loose ball saved by White, gets it to Mobley, and it's USC basketball. They're up by 3. Mobley puts it on the floor, hangs, and hits. Wow. All that 7 feet tall. The coordination, I mean, it's just really steady and smooth.
But that's the thing, the coordination, but also the poise. Here's a 7-footer bringing the ball up the court, and that's one thing. A lot of guys can dribble, so congratulations. But do they have the poise to take the pressure, spin dribble, get to the basket, take contact, and finish? I think that's what's most impressive, that the kid plays with a great poise, as if he's been handling the ball his whole life.
The number 3 recruit in the ESPN 100, of course, Paul Biancardi and company do a great job profiling our recruits and ranking them. Evan Mobley, one of the best in the land, and at least at quick glance, 1 game and about 3.5 minutes. I get it. You know?
I get it. I think at times people may be critical because he doesn't do too many flashy things.
Right.
And I think you got to open your eyes to reality. This is a guy who plays under control, and I could say probably could play the 3, 4, or 5 at any given moment.
All right, so we're talking about USC. On the other side, Dan Hurley took over at UConn after things were down. And this year, his 3rd season as Connecticut head coach. And one of the special things, they're back in the Big East. It's a different Big East, but still home for Connecticut and their fans.
Well, but also, the type of player you recruit to UConn fits the Big East more so than the American. We talked to Dan Hurley about that in terms of American get a lot of transfers, whereas UConn, you're going to build almost from the ground up with players. You want to develop players into who they're going to be as juniors and seniors.
Edey wandering into the paint, kick out. White, good look. Had a good wide open look, just couldn't knock it down. USC by 3. UConn basketball. Bouknight gets another.
And that can't be the game plan against James Bouknight. You cannot go under those screens. I feel like that's like one of the easiest things as an analyst to call. So don't go under that screen. It's almost like the high post short corner when someone's playing a zone.
I think that just gives you a 0 to your plus minus.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Peterson with another bucket. The Rice transfer, they weren't immediately sure that he'd be eligible, but he got the waiver. And so here he is.
It sounds like a broken record, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
We're not really sure, but he got the waiver.
Yeah. On our second game, we're going to get a chance to see the season debut of James Karnick. And a jumper goes down right there for Tyrese Martin. So they've been good so far from 3, and the Huskies leading by a point.
Well, USC's got to be more aggressive in showing defensively to at least deter an open shot. I mean, they're stepping right into easy threes.
Early going Roman Legends Classic, and it's UConn by a point. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Roman, the digital health clinic for men, and Old Trapper Beef Jerky in the Big East. Look at all the conference wins: 10 regular season championships, 7 conference tournaments, and of course 3 of the 4 national titles over the course of that stretch: 99, 04, and 2011. As somebody that grew up in New York City and went to the Big East tournament back in the heyday, you know, you think of the mid-'80s and when 3 teams went to the Final Four. But more than anything, I think about the staples of the Big East tournament. UConn and Syracuse, their fans.
Yeah, especially when you think about that run, Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what this generation at least thinks of. So it does make the most sense that they're back in the Big East, and I feel like even this generation looks at it and says, well, yeah, that's where they belong.
Bouknight takes it aggressively, used the rim, but couldn't spit it home. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
How long do you think it takes? I'm kind of switching roles here. Usually the host does this, right? How long do you think it takes for someone to get accustomed to the new conference they're in?
I would say probably 2 years, maybe even, yeah, two to 3, especially travel.
Yeah, there's a lot, but I almost feel like from a fan base's perspective, it's not until you win at the same level you won at in that other conference. So for Maryland, right, Maryland finally gets a share of the Big Ten title last year. I almost feel like for Maryland fans, as long as it's been, it's not until you win at a high level do you feel like you're a part of that conference.
I think it can also be quirky when there's a travel, it's a turnover, and UConn gets the ball up by 3. Just to finish the thought, when you switch conferences and it's jarring geographically, which I think it was, which I know it was for UConn, I think of West Virginia. Same deal. When they went to the now they asked for it, but they have the hardest travel of any team in the Big 12. Well, Bob Huggins, I mean, you know Bob Huggins going to figure it out, and he's a great coach, great recruiter, and they're one of the powers in the conference, and they're good again this year. But early on, the travel was brutal for them, and you're just trying to learn the teams and the league. Toss inside, and good hands there by Mobley. Jumper off the mark there from Carlton.
Look, ugly shot, but good for Carlton recognizing that the shot clock's running out, at least getting something up. We'll call it at the backboard.
Big rejection right there as Isaiah Whaley threw back the shot from Agbonkpolo. Whaley jumper, that's a 3. Tip. Does not count, all right. Just double checking. Danny Hurley, not usually very expressive. Kidding.
That is a tough one, though. You're kind of going up, and here's the block. Yeah, that's a tough one. Like, what is it? Yeah, you're getting pushed on the way up to tip in the shot. I don't know.
They are going to.
Oh, they're giving it to him.
Yeah. And I'm with Danny Hurley on that one, by
so
the way.
am I.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on the way up. I think that's the right call. Sometimes I wish officials could just officiate with feel, which means the people that are overseeing them relax a little bit. Trust these guys in their experience so they can officiate the game with feel and less interpretation of the black and white rules.
7-0 UConn run. Huskies 5-5.
UConn fouls on 0, Jalen Gaffney.
Get the foul on Jalen Gaffney.
USC got off to a good start, but the offensive actions kind of slowed down, and Peterson hasn't been as aggressive. When he's cutting and moving, I feel like the offense is better, whether he's getting shots or not. That helps.
Yeah, no question about it. Polo.
You see that a lot when you go to a side ball screen. The defense on the strong side just falls asleep because you think it's going the other way. So good read.
Ball in Jalen Gaffney's hands. He and Cole, the two guys that will lead him at the point. And Gaffney knocks down a three. Another triple for UConn.
USC's defense has really been just sagging off the three-point line.
Mobley lost the handle. His brother collects and gets fouled. Evan couldn't hang on to it, but Isaiah was able to gather it in, and he'll go to the line. What a reminder, coming up next here on ESPN and the app from Bubbleville's Roman Legends Classic. Second part of our doubleheader. It's Florida and Boston College. 9:30 Eastern Time.
Florida was rusty. Very rusty in their first game yesterday. I expect to see a better performance. And BC, quite frankly, has been tested by good teams already. That's been the interesting thing with the bubbles and everything and the games you're trying to get. You don't have a lot of those cupcake 40-point blowouts. It's just good. You're thrown in the deep end.
Boston College is playing one game this year against a non-power conference team. So
I mean, Villanova, Arizona State, Rhode Island, Seton Hall, that's one way to start it. And they really look good, too. I think Florida, for that second game, you've got to hope that they can be a little more polished. It looked like they just got off the plane and hadn't really practiced much, but the potential's there.
Well, that's something Andy Enfield talked about. His team really just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. But they've looked good.
Yep. Andre Jackson into the game as he gives off here to Tyler Polley to the corner, and Adams. Little floater, short. And that one put home by Josh Carlson.
Easiest offensive rebounds are the worst misses. It's just how it goes.
Break of the action, 11:49 to go. First half, and UConn by 5. We've been working so hard for close to 2 weeks now, who have been affected by cancer or had loved ones that they've lost.
I feel like every year this week is kind of sobering, humbling, and motivating at the same time, which is just...
Pressure right here. Ball in Mobley's hands. Polley up on him.
Everybody wants that guy, right? The .4, right?
Sure.
It's such a weapon. It's almost as if you can't be pressured if that's the case. I was out at UCLA with Matt Barnes, and it was kind of early in those days where you really didn't do that much, but you alleviate pressure by trusting your foreman to bring it up. It makes it that much easier. And when you think about what Dan Hurley's trying to do, they're trying to be disruptive, and it really disallows you from being disruptive.
It's a family affair at USC. Not just Evan, but Isaiah and Dad Eric, who was a good player at Portland and played overseas. Big-time AAU coach as well. He's in his 3rd season. Gets to coach his kids. What's better than that?
At this level, too. It's one thing you're in high school, but this is Power 5, Major Division I. And as we said, 5 of the most successful years at USC, so they've got good things going.
Yeah, Andy Enfield, again, 8th season, his 10th overall as a head coach. Was a really good shooter, played D3 basketball at Johns Hopkins, over 2,000 points. Polo able to get it to go. Good body control, and then the soft touch as that was contested.
He made the decision at the three-point line that he was going to go up strong, one way or another. And when you make the decision to go up strong, you look to finish, not just get the contact.
Polly with Mobley in his face, and a rebound underneath Carlton. And a shove by Chavez Goodwin.
And right move by Dan Hurley, getting Bouknight back in there. Not a good lineup to go against the zone. The ball got stuck, and you're not going to have the skip because you really don't trust that three-point shooter. So it's a challenge. You've got to have guys not only that can shoot the ball, but can attack the gaps of that with the bounce. In his zone, we always say, attack the open space. Well, you can also attack another defender. It's all about drawing two and putting him in a scramble mode.
Gaffney inside, wouldn't go. Mobley pulls it down, and up ahead, Polo. And he loses it. Back the other way, UConn. Polly had it blocked. And they called an offensive foul, I think. Yeah, they did.
Look, there's some possessions where you just hope the official blows the whistle and ends the play, and that was what needed to happen. I mean, nothing good was happening. I don't care who the foul's on, at least it's done.
Right. So Tyler Polly will grab a seat. Edie handling, getting it over into the front court, and then loses his dribble. Isaiah Mobley here. Polo lost the handle. Shot clock is winding down. Bowman gets the jumper to go. They're saying it's a 2, the transfer from San Jose State.
You almost feel badly when that happens because it was a terrific defensive possession. Not just because they were disruptive with the pressure, but they communicated very well, forced the toughest shot possible, and it just so happens to fall.
Feed inside, Carlton flips it up. Won't go. Goodwin with the board. USC with a 1-point advantage, looking to add on. Edie probing to the corner. Polo. Bouknight steps back as they move the basketball. James Bouknight, the guy that'll be the focal point of their offense this year. Finished strong down the stretch a season ago. Gaffney. Martin, left hand, wouldn't fall, but he's fouled.
great defense if you're UConn, right? And look, you want to build upon these things. You got deflections, you forced a tough shot. You can't really ask for anything more than that. You know, I always say the fool's gold of making tough shots, right? We talk about that. You make a lot of tough shots, it's kind of fool's gold offense. You didn't really play great offense. Well, as a defense, you need to walk away from that possession feeling good, saying we did everything right, so what? We gave up a prayer of a shot. Which, no offense, Bowman can knock down those shots. He's got length and he's a shooter, but great defense, you've got to build upon that.
Adama Sanogo picks up the foul. And so Adama now with 2.
This is what they want to do. They want to get into some pressure off some makes.
Inside, and that one contested.
I'd say transition defense for both teams so far has been good.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the numbers right now, but in terms of transition, there hasn't been many opportunities, which would favor UConn in terms of 4 guys that can really get downhill, get to the basket.
Bowman jumper, got it to go, and that's 4 for Bowman.
Get a little confidence making a tough shot.
Jumper will fall there from Whaley.
That would be one of those times where I jump in and say, that's you get to the weak point of the zone, high post area. The key in the high post area is not just having a big guy who can catch and throw to the other side. It's having a playmaker. If you don't have a playmaker in the middle of the zone, you're not going to be able to get him.
2 for Edie. Edie, the Connecticut native, but you come all the way back here. You got to stay inside the bubble. Can't see anyone. Friends, family. Well, the same thing with the Hurley brothers.
You couldn't see each other.
No. Bobby was here with Arizona State, not able to see Danny.
Like, I think considering the circumstances and also considering what you see in terms of how many teams have had to back out, postpone, cancel games, I think a lot of these coaches are saying, we'll do whatever we need to do to play games. I mean, Jay Wright just kind of hung out here for a while, picked up 2 extra games, one of which was Virginia Tech. They lost.
Good look inside, and Sanogo not able to finish, but an excellent feed from Bookdike. Good one so far. UConn and USC, it's a 1-point affair. We're looking at one of the top freshmen of the country in Evan Mobley. How about that? The Pac-12 conference play has started.
It's just weird, right? Like, it's just, but I think that's going to be par for the course this year. We just kind of deal with whatever is.
No doubt.
We adapt, right?
Adama Sanogo. This is the first.
Neither team so far tonight has really gotten into or has been able to create a rhythm to this game. It's just kind of been up and down, back and forth a little bit, figure each other out. If we get to the second half and neither team's done it, the first team that finds it is probably going to win this game. That'll be another one of those things I kind of call. So prophetic.
That's how you do it, though. You got to stuff that is unverifiable.
Yeah.
So when such and such team finds its rhythm, you know, like we can't really quantify that. So like you can just basically make an announcement in the second half for whatever team's winning.
It's safe.
They have found their rhythm.
Look, they did one thing great. They found rhythm and they win. Yep.
That's right. Drive safe, everybody.
Yep.
Sanogo picks up foul number 3. I'm right there with you. I mean, that's how you got to do it.
But it is. I mean, we've seen that, especially early in the season, with less practice, less polish, some cobwebs, rust, all the other cliches we could throw out there with all that's going on. But it really is about creating a flow to the game, and the flow gets into your offense, and then your defense complements what you want to do offensively. And usually that does take time. But most seasons you play against some cupcakes and figure that out. And then figure out how to apply it against a high-level opponent. That's the natural progression of a season. Well, we don't have it. So on the fly against a good opponent, you're going to have to find a way to create rhythm.
Carlton pulls down the miss. UConn with the ball up a point. Cole to the corner and Booknight directing traffic. Back to R.J. Cole. Cole, the transfer from Howard. Wanders in, pulls up, little strong, White the board.
The zone is giving UConn some issue in the sense that they just don't know where to go.
Isaiah Mobley hangs, couldn't hit, contested well by Josh Carlton.
I would honestly put Booknight in the middle and just say, now good luck covering everything. He's your best playmaker, and the last thing you want to do is allow him to get the ball in that situation.
And a foul on USC, Isaiah White. All right, so how'd we get here? Well, early on, it was Evan Mobley getting into the paint, hanging and hitting. Booknight from way downtown. He's been excellent in this one. He's got 11. 5:38 to go, first half. UConn 28, USC 27. John Chompy, John Crispin.
UConn just hasn't been able to get inside on the bounce, and that's where defense really shifts the most.
Carlton gets inside and one, as if on cue.
Kind of call it. I'll put it to bed now. Look, you slip under the defense. As the defense shifts over, you lose sight of your man, and those are little principles that you can correct if you're Evan Mobley, excuse me. But that's always there. You slide underneath the defense on the baseline side if the defense doesn't drop to the point where he can see you and the basketball. Everything on the court is a read of some sort. It's a read. There are no real sets that work anymore. You have to make a read, and that right there is the right read getting inside the defense.
Edey goes to work, shot contested, blocked. He wanted a foul call, and here's Booknight on the move. Cole launches a three and hits. R.J. Cole. And just like that, it's a 6-point advantage. And we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Always be ready to seize the moment when inspiration strikes. Make the most of this opportunity during Mazda's Season of Inspiration. Get 0.9% APR for up to 60 months and no payments for 90 days.
Let's take a look at our game track, and it's brought to you by Roman. UConn 6 for 10 from 3, and that really is the story in this one. Booknight with 11 points, USC doing it in the paint.
And look, there's no fool's gold in that 6 for 10. Those are good looks. Now, they're not just making tough shots. USC really sagged a lot early in their defense. The zone's kind of changed that a little bit, but as the ball's gotten inside and swung back around the perimeter, they still have gotten good looks. At some point, I expect USC to be able to apply a little more pressure around the perimeter, considering you have two good shot blockers around the rim.
Mobley looking for some help, gets it into Peterson. Again, they're without Ethan Anderson, who's a starter in the backcourt. His back and tailbone bothering him. He was limited to just under 9 minutes in a loss to BYU, and he sits this time. There he is. Peterson, that was halfway down. Loose ball, and it ends up with Cole.
Peterson had Mobley wide open. Peterson's kind of playing like the mindset of a bucket getter right now, which I don't mind. You just might want to find your superstar if he's open.
Booknight goes baseline to get the block. That one is on Chavez Goodwin.
Chavez Goodwin was a good pickup. You know, you think about the transfer portal, and you know, I think a lot of times you see a guy and you go, he's talented, he's played a couple years, but you don't really dive deep and say, well, how's he been coached?
Yep.
Not just who is he being coached, but what style are they running? Well, he was coached by Mike Young at Wofford, and he comes in with great experience and understanding of not only the game, but the narrative around the game. And I think that's a good pickup, because that guy can not only come in and be an immediate impact, he can help you teach some of the young guys too. As he checks out.
So Goodwin will sit, and Boubacar Coulibaly will check in. UConn by 8, Book Night, and the Huskies on a 7-0 run. Book Night with 13.
Making shots has been the best thing for UConn in terms of pressuring a little bit, and as they pressure the ball in the backcourt, everybody's getting set, and that defense has been set. They've been effective.
Coulibaly, jumper, that's long, and the rebound pulled down by Gaffney. Book Night, pretty open look. Edie, the floater, one and done. Gaffney the other way. Book Night, wide open. I mean, a really good read and pass, and they just weren't able to hit it.
Really good read and cut, and that's the thing. When you put a playmaker like that, even if he gets the catch and doesn't get a wide open shot, he's going to be able to make a play. Pass fake makes it easy. Dump down's easy. There's a lot there if your playmaker gets it in that position.
Coulibaly can't hit. Under 3 to go here in the first half, and UConn leads it by 8.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like your turn, my turn. It doesn't feel like anybody's really, I mean, yes, UConn's up, but it doesn't feel like anybody's really done anything to establish themselves. It's just back and forth, and UConn up 10 though.
I wasn't sure whether you were talking about us or whether you were talking about them.
It's always my turn.
That's a good point. ESPN's exclusive president. And here our game. 2:32 to go, and it's a 10-point game. What's your thought on what Sean said in terms of getting Evan Mobley more involved?
I honestly think that starts on the defensive end. When you're in zone and you're just standing there, there's really no energy. There's no rhythm, and your defense has to complement your offense. The energy has to match on both sides of the floor, and you can't just stand there on one side and then expect to be aggressive on the other. So I feel like they need to pick up the intensity defensively, get out and run, get the ball moving, and create some opportunities that way, as opposed to just simply running a set that's easy to defend.
Mobley kick out. Goodwin gets inside, spinning, flips it up and in. Chavez Goodwin the bucket.
Now the other point to make is Evan Mobley has shown a lot of patience. If I was as good as him, I would be nowhere close to as patient as he is in terms of demanding the basketball, seeking out opportunities. I do give him credit for that, but at times you have to understand how important you are in terms of you being productive on the offensive end of the floor to your team's success.
Book Night goes baseline, gets it to the corner. Jackson inside, hangs, would fall, and Peterson the board. And now Drew Peterson. Three off the mark, and a rebound pulled down. Book Night on the go.
Just not communicating as well as they did last game for SC defensively.
Book Night had his shot rejected. Here's Peterson. Give off Mobley, and he's fouled. And Evan will go to the line and shoot 2. All right, we'll have the second game of the 19th annual Women's Jimmy V Classic. It's tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN. And the app number 5, Louisville takes on number 20 DePaul right here in Bubbleville. Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. First time these teams have played in the Jimmy V Classic. Of course, raising money for the V Foundation for Cancer Research. V-Week on the ESPN family of networks.
Husky substitution number 1, RJ.
Been a long time since Evan Mobley took a shot.
Roger Jackson.
15 minutes, if we're correct. And I think there's something to learn about Evan Mobley if you're Coach Andy Enfield. It's that I need to make sure I get him something. He is patient, right? We've seen that. He's patient. He's taking his time. He has moved the basketball. He doesn't make bad decisions. I give him that. But if that's the case, you got to find a way to get it out of him because he's too good not to be more productive on the offensive end.
Just got a foul. Adam Vanderberg called it. Had a foul on Chavez Goodwin.
USC fouls. Chuck against number 1. Chavez Goodwin is third.
So that's number 3.
Do you know what happened?
I'm not sure what happened. Andy Enfield was a little frustrated, and you can see Coulibaly's getting up, and he's going to come in.
I'm sure there's somewhere in the manual or handbook, I haven't gotten it yet, for broadcasting that we're not supposed to say we don't know what happened, but I still don't know what happened.
I'm just going to let you know that I'm fine with I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Look, it's disarming. People don't like people that think they're always right. Right?
I don't know.
Well done. That was strange. That was very strange. The whole thing that just transpired.
39-31, under a minute to go. UConn and USC, and the Huskies lead it by 8. Coulibaly comes out, and then a foul on Cole.
UConn fouls on number 1, RJ Cole is first.
Where I agree most with what Sean Farderman Studio was saying is you got to run something for Evan Mobley, but what I would say is you got to run something that gets him involved. And we forget that sometimes. You think it's about getting him a shot. No, it's about keeping him interested.
Right.
I think that's the thing. And when you're interested, the ball moves better, you cut harder, you set better screens, and when you do all those little things like screen better, you get open more. It's like indirectly running something for him.
Well, the one point that I would make is that with Anderson hurt, if Edey is not on the court, the ball probably should be in his hands a little bit because he seems like he makes pretty good decisions.
Absolutely. I mean, even a two-man game option where you put him on the wing, have him set a ball screen on the wing and just see how he responds. Does he make the right decision? Because so far, I think his decision-making's been great.
Bouknight can't hit. And the Trojans will come the other way. As they hold for the last shot, Peterson. Down by 6, Peterson spinning and gets fouled.
But Peterson's kind of got that in him, right? He's got that swagger where he's taking a clear out and making a play. And that's something Mobley at some point has to do. It's hard to cover somebody who's just going to put their head down and go to the basket. And one way or another.
Misses the front end. Evan Mobley with 10 points in the first half. And USC by 5. Still a chance for a shot. Oh, slipping down, Akpongpolo, and that would have counted. USC started hot, finished cold. And as we go to the break, it is UConn leading this one by 5. Time now, the Jeep halftime report. Kevin Cotter, Seth Bravanda first half stats. I think it bears watching. I mean, look, UConn 6 of 12 from 3, but USC, you're not going to win a ton of games going 1 for 4 from the the three-point line. In terms of points in the paint, advantage Trojans, and right now UConn basketball up by 5, and we get the second half underway. Still to come, Boston College and Florida. It's a good doubleheader here for the Mohegan Sun. Book night, kick out, and Whaley not able to hit. Cole will try and hit. That's their 7th three-pointer.
That was one of the best offensive possessions of the game, not just because the ball moved and the action was good, but the body seemed interested in moving all over the court, cutting hard, passing the basketball, talking, calling things out. Seems like the energy's just higher, and Evan Mobley's trying to make it happen again now, too.
And Mobley draws the foul.
When the ball's moving around, defense is chasing. When the defense is chasing, you're not really locked on a man to get that defensive rebound. Offensive rebound, best place to look. Three-point line, knock it down. And it's good to see this. Evan Mobley trying to make something happen and aggressive with the basketball. Yeah, it's been about an hour since we've seen him get a shot up, so it's good to see that aggressiveness.
College debut had 21 against D2 Cal Baptist, coming off 17 and 11 against BYU. And going to play for a coach that kind of quietly under the radar, Andy Enfield, the program's best 5-year span since 91-96. You're talking about from a winning percentage standpoint, but I mean, they've had a stretch where most wins in a single year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. It's pretty impressive.
5, 6, 7 guys playing in the pros. I mean, that was something else you could tell he was very proud of.
Yeah.
Not just one-and-done type guys. Jordan McLaughlin, a guy who really developed over time.
Carl could convert, but he'll go to the line and shoot 2. Yeah, with Onyeka Okongwu going 6th overall to the Hawks. 5 NBA guys in the last 3 years for the Trojans. So, and you put that, when you're talking about a league that has UCLA, Arizona, and they're the guys that have moved on to the next level. Andy Enfield has found talent and helped usher them on to the next level.
And look, I think we can point this out. It's not a knock. It's just reality. It's not an easy job. USC is a football school. Look, I played at a football school myself. Penn State's not a basketball school. USC is a football school. It's also a private school. And it sits in the middle of LA where there's a lot of other things. I don't know if you're aware of this, but in LA there's a lot of other stuff going on.
Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of things. And that's a challenge. It really is a challenge to get guys, to get people bought into the program. And I think it's a hard sell in Los Angeles. Great
find right there. Peterson off the mark. And tracking it down is Isaiah Whaley. Just get going here. Second half, UConn by 7. Book night. Dribble it back out. Cole. And 2 off the mark, but tracked down by Book night. Save. Peterson trying to track it down. Loose ball, and eventually Peterson finds it. Goodwin, they get a 3-on-1. Gets it back and puts it in.
That was just a very bizarre sequence. I mean, it was kind of the beehive on one end following the basketball. Then Goodwin throws it off his own teammate's shin, gets it back for a layup. Kind of like a hockey assist.
The old shin ball. Book night here, floater, that'll go.
He's got a special game. He really does. And the thing is, it's not just that. I think we all see he can finish, he can knock down threes, but the hesitation, change of speed, change of direction, little bit of contact, floating away from the basket and finish. It's a big-time play.
Still just a sophomore. Danny Hurley admitting he's got a ton of talent, said he probably needs, 5, 6 more games still to just really get himself completely comfortable. As we take a look at James Bouknight, native of Brooklyn, high school in Massachusetts.
That's not an easy shot. And I think what's most impressive about a lot of young guys is we talk about their skill, the things that they can do from a skill standpoint, but what separates a good young player from a pro is feel. And Book Knight's got a feel for the game where he knows when to attack, knows when to hold back, good vision, shoots it well. I think he's just got to continue to be strong with the basketball and even improve the strength in his body.
Mobley finds White on the opposite side, had a good look at it, couldn't knock it down, and that will go out of bounds.
Didn't it feel like the start to this second half was exponentially better than the way the first half finished? Just there's a little more sense of urgency with everything both teams are doing.
Peterson gets harassed, double team. Mobley inside to Goodwin. Shot blocked, and UConn will go the other way. Good work by Whaley to come up with a block. Martin inside. Left hand is good.
Carlton should get an assist for that, for just holding his ground and keeping the shot blocker away.
Tyrese Martin, the URI transfer with that bucket. Mobley, that's a three. Short, one and done, and here's Martin the other way. UConn by 9, looking for more. Now Book Knight. Inside, had it rejected. Martin collects. Martin hangs, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2. Andy Enfield's team down by 9. Just getting going second half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Presented by Lowe's, BC and Florida.
It'll be interesting. Jay Heath, Winston Tabbs, good guards, but they've played a little bit more polished basketball considering the 4 quality opponents they've faced. Florida, a lot of rust yesterday, but still a ton of potential.
Third meeting, Florida leads 2-0. Now they met in 1994 actually twice. So they met in the Final 8. That was the year that BC knocked off the defending national champs in the 1 seed North Carolina with Andrew DeClerc and Cross and Brown, and they beat the BC team with Billy Curley and Howard Isley, Malcolm Huckabee. And Florida went to the Final 4, and then they met Chris Herron's freshman year that fall.
Basketball 30.
There's some names you threw out, like Howard Isley pops into my mind.
Had a good NBA career, was a really good college player.
I really watched and felt like, yeah, I like how he plays.
Up and under, oh boy, and that goes for Tyrese Martin. Nice shot. And UConn with an 11-point lead. Yeah, Howard Isley, I believe, is on that Michigan staff.
Yep. Pretty sure this was supposed to go off glass for Martin. That is not an easy shot. Mobley's right there. It's almost like he thinks it's such a bad shot that he's not going to block it. I just think UConn's been the aggressor. And I know it's cliche, the aggressor usually always wins or whatever they say, but that's just the case. They've set the tone. They've set the pace. They've been the aggressor. They've attacked on offense. Their defense has had more pressure.
Martin inside, that wouldn't go, but the follow there from Whaley.
Whaley looked like he got a little help on that. It seemed like he hung there for a while. Not on the rim, but maybe on someone's shoulder. We tend to replay dunks.
10-2 run for UConn as they lead by 13. Trojans going to find their way on the offensive end. Whaley steps out. Edey. Bauman jumper. Too strong. Mobley saves it to his brother. Evan had a foul on the floor. I like dunks.
Just felt like he hung there for a while. Just like he had an arm on someone's shoulder. Maybe he did. Not that much. I'm still impressed by dunks. As much as you're around this game, sometimes, you know, like, you've seen so many, but the guys that play so far above the rim, it's somewhat humbling and fun to watch.
Out of bounds, it was off of Mobley's foot, but it ended up getting a piece of Brendan Adams' foot, so it stays with USC. 17 in the shot clock. 13-point advantage for UConn. And the Trojans got to find something on the offensive end.
They went to a little two-man game there with the Mobley brothers. Interesting to see that because they didn't switch. You know, you would think 4 to 5, like the like, you might switch that, but clearly the focus is Evan Mobley. You don't want to give him anything. Showing him a lot of respect, even sending a second defender his way.
Three-pointer, got it, and they needed it.
You have to continue to play through Mobley, whether it's that, you know, pick and roll situation, dribble handoff situation, because the defense just shades everything in his direction.
Martin in the paint, now wandering in closer, and then the shot blocked, but he traveled first.
And Edey's been good. Last game I was really impressed with Edey, but Mobley makes good decisions, and you know, you ask guys, look, make a good read, you're going to get a good shot. He's been good. I have liked him with the ball in his hand, and when he's aggressive looking to shoot, he's a much better offensive player. And
again, no Ethan Anderson out with a back issue for this game. Mobley gets inside, and that little jump hook is good.
Every single time down floor, if you give him that much space, he's going to beat you. Now, there's two things. I think at times USC's offense has been defending Evan Mobley because they haven't had the spacing needed or required to give him room to work.
Polly rejected by Evan Mobley.
Sometimes running something for a guy is just getting the heck out of his way. I mean, that's really, you think about the NBA, give him room to work, attack in space. There's nothing you can do about that. And on the other end, he's standing there waiting, and he's going to put it back to your bench.
Yeah. Evan Mobley, they knew he was going to impact the game defensively. Contests that shot, and it's a shot clock violation. As Book Night launched and Mobley came out. It's one of the things, I think the defense from a shot blocking standpoint was probably his biggest asset.
But even if you don't block the shot, you see somebody be disruptive, and sometimes that disruption is just, I'm not going to take it in there because he's close to the rim. Yeah. And if you at least keep that offense from attacking the paint, you're forcing them around the perimeter, you can play differently in terms of your pressure on the perimeter. Which we haven't really seen USC apply pressure, trusting the guys behind them. I think that's something they can do more and more as this season goes on.
Tyler Polly picking up number 4. And he'll grab a seat. Tyler, of course, his dad, Tommy, an All-American linebacker at Florida State, part of that group that won the national title and played in the NFL for 6 seasons. Really good football player. Inside, Mobley hangs, was contested that time by Whaley and couldn't hit. And now it's Book Night. Whaley flying in, couldn't convert. Mobley toss up ahead. And a block. Agbonkpolo not able to finish, but he'll shoot 2 when we return. USC, and a guy who's a big-time recruit for them He was a top 65 recruit, the ESPN 100, and a guy that affected the game on the defensive end. He's out with an Achilles injury. They had originally projected that he would be back in January, but now I think they're feeling like maybe a couple of weeks away. He's already been cleared to go 5-on-5, so it's a good sign that things are advancing as quickly as they are, but he will help them on the glass, on the defensive end, and again, more depth for Danny Hurley.
Yeah, you wonder what that would change in this matchup in terms of whether you're digging down as much as you need to in the post. But I thought it was interesting just hearing how he had the surgery in March, and then, the whole world shut down not long after. So you wonder how that was going to impact rehab, because we've heard that from a number of guys, where you have a procedure and you have to go home. The rehab's not going to be as aggressive as it would be if you were on campus. So it's good to hear that he's ahead of schedule at least.
7-0 USC run. Bouknight stops in the paint and a foul on the floor.
Yeah, and that's what Seth's talking about. I mentioned it in the first half, like getting your playmaker in a position to make a play. That's really what it's all about. It's not just, he can score it from there. No, either way, that's the best area against that zone to make a play. Make a good decision and get somebody involved and make an easy shot, as he just did before he got fouled.
Bouknight trying to find Whaley, and instead pass was deflected. Martin collides with Bouknight, goes down hard, and it'll be USC basketball. I think they're both all right. Tyrese Martin and James Bouknight.
Bouknight came off of a ball screen there, and Evan Mobley was covering the screener. The amount of space he was able to basically apply, meaning just gap backwards, use his length just to deter the shot. That's actually one of those small things that goes unnoticed, but is actually really big. The fact that he's still back in the paint, but deterring a jump shot on what would be a pretty easy look for most people.
Mobley gets inside and gets it to fall. Nice shot by Isaiah Mobley. He had 11 points and 11 rebounds in the win against BYU.
Like a quiet 11, though. He just, more nuts and bolts.
Gaffney goes to work, got to put it up. Oh, and they fouled him. Wow. Bauman fouls him. It's 3 shots.
I mean, let's see how close it is, because that is one of those things. I mean, you are a half second away. I always say anyway, regardless of whether the shot clock's running down or not, defense, you're not just there to stop every shot from happening. You're there to make them take the toughest shot possible, and then you've got to trust your defense behind. Let's see it. Where's the shot clock? Yeah, the little Honda Civic horn went off, and you play-by-play guys are really good at impersonating one another.
Yeah.
And car horns, apparently.
Yes. It's a gift. Gaffney going to knock that one down. So 56-49. UConn with the lead. The Roman Legends Classic still to come. Boston College and Florida. Bauman knocks down the shot.
That's big time. That's big time. In rhythm, good shot. And the thing is, it's a 4-point game. And for the first time, I feel like there's some energy on the USC bench. And that's going to help this team.
Feed inside, shot blocked. And Bouknight goes down, grabbing his knee for a moment. And he's hobbling a little bit. Edie will try. Martin collects it. USC on a 12-3 run right now.
But the ball has touched Evan Mobley a lot. And it's not that he's had to make a play every single time, but when he touches the ball, everybody's eyeballs go there. And good things happen.
Mark inside, out of his hands, out of bounds. USC basketball.
See if we can see what happened. James Bouknight going up. He's got blocked by the rim. Just looked awkward.
And then he gets tangled up with Bauman. Out of bounds, UConn basketball.
Taking a look at Bouknight, but that was another great find. He threw it into the post so he doesn't get it. Length, height, whatever you want to look at. He's able to throw over the defense and he finds the open guy.
Good hands there. USC aggressive defensively. UConn gets it back. Shot clock winding down. This is Whaley spinning, throws it up and in. Isaiah Whaley with the deuce.
That felt like a little bit of a prayer. Good footwork and all. You could tell he knew the shot blocker was there. He almost froze for a second, and that freeze gave him time to get it up.
Mobley inside and book it. Two more for Isaiah Mobley, who's got 6.
UConn was digging down in the post a few minutes ago, even 5-10 minutes ago, and they've gotten away from it, and it's gotten them beat. At some point, I think those guards have to be active in terms of getting the ball back out around the perimeter, which is going to require good closeouts to take away the three-point shot.
Carlton to Whaley, too strong, tipped out. Gaffney has it, and UConn will set it back up. They lead by 4. Just about 7.5 to go. Martin, three-pointer from the corner. That misses everything. USC on the go. And here's Cole now. Agbunk Polo wasn't able to hit. Bouknight getting set to check back in. Cole way downtown. That misses. Whaley the rebound. Gaffney thought about it. And a foul on Peterson. 4-point game, 6:53 to go. UConn with the lead. All right, UConn leading this one by 4. Evan Mobley with 14 points to lead the Trojans. Meanwhile, James Bouknight back in. He's got 15 to lead the Huskies.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly a different team when he's on the floor. I mean, just the movement shifts the defense, and especially if they're against the zone, he's able to get inside that zone.
Cole into the paint, flips it up, little strong, tip. Loose ball. Cole comes away with it.
How about that?
One of the smallest guys on the court. And Bouknight travel.
You know, Bouknight's had a good night. He really has. And hitting a couple shots early just changes the way you're defended. I thought the defense for USC was soft early, where they allowed him to step into shots, but then when you run him off the three-point line, he can hit those runners, and then this is what just happened a few minutes ago. Seems all right. It was just an awkward spill.
Edie not able to hit. Bouknight with just 2 since the break. Mobley comes flying in to grab the rebound. Peterson down. Edey another chance at it, wide open. Mobley the board, flips it up, little short. They get Isaiah Mobley with that foul. That's his fourth.
I'm not sure what it was. Yeah, I have no, that's his second one today. I just have no idea.
John Crispin from Bubbleville. Cole tosses out, Gaffney. Peterson closes, now Bouknight. And White the rebound, and again a chance for the Trojans to cut into the UConn lead.
I mean, they've had some opportunities. You really feel like, UConn's gone a little cold offensively, particularly when Bouknight went off the floor. You've got to get aggressive and capitalize. I wouldn't mind seeing Peterson getting back after it. I think Peterson, when he was aggressive and attacking, good things happened. But ultimately, when you get it inside, Evan Mobley's drawing a lot of attention. Even if he's drawing eyeballs, that gives you easy opportunities to make the right read and get yourself to an open spot, because he does have the good vision and won't find you.
Edey's had a couple open looks from three that he just hasn't been able to hit. Meanwhile, it's Mobley at the stripe and gets the front end. Isaiah's sitting with 4 right now.
Mobley's got that kind of chill demeanor, and I'm almost wondering at what point this season he's just going to bust out. Because the way he could play at an incredibly high level, skill is there, poise is there, but at some point, some fire is going to come out.
Adama Sanogo sets the screen. Gaffney back to Cole, who hoists. Whaley flies in, spins it off the glass, wouldn't go. Peterson the rebound, loose ball. Peterson has it, and he was able to get the timeout. And it'll be USC basketball when we return. Trojans down 3, 4:46 to go. It's Bouknight. You're going to need him to get things going. But even still, Coach Hurley and the Huskies up by 3. This would be a good win if they could pick it up.
Absolutely. I just think watching this, I struggle to see USC being able to win this game, continuing to sit in that zone past a certain point. And the point might be 3 minutes, because at some point you've got to get something going up and down the floor, pick the energy up. Your defense always affects your offense, and the energy offensively just hasn't been there, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that defensively they sat back in the zone.
Jumper off the mark. Edey tried to save, couldn't do it. UConn basketball. Still to come, second part of our doubleheader. And Boston College will take on Florida. It'll be the debut for James Karnick, a transfer from Lehigh. Scotty Lewis and the Gators are going up against Boston College. Only the 3rd time all-time that schools have met. Jay Heath back. That foot injury that caused him to miss a single game. Bouknight and +1 will go to the line.
I mean, he's done it from, again, you don't have to be Dr. James Naismith to know short corner, high post against the zone, but he's got into spots where he's just dangerous. A simple pump fake, and going up against the best shot blocker on the floor, still finds a way to finish. He does. He's just got a good feel for the game. And sometimes that's knowing when you can get a shot off against a shot blocker and knowing when you got to get it out. He timed it right, a little bit of a hesitation. Finish and 1.
3-point play, and Bouknight now with 18. Started his high school career in New York City and then eventually moved on to finish up in Massachusetts at the McDuffie School. Mobley inside. In close, couldn't hit. Mobley the rebound and puts it in. That was aggressive. Offensive rebound and put back.
Yeah, that's one of those things when you shoot the basketball, you know where it's coming off. He immediately went to the right side where he knew that rebound was coming off and was able to finish. You just got to know that if you get ISO'd in on that left block, he's going to get to that left shoulder right hook. If anything, you need help digging down, just get it back out of his hands.
UConn by 4, Book Knight. Lost the handle and it ends up with Evan Mobley. Gives it off to Isaiah.
And I like this, Mobley in the ball screen action. Get him involved, give him space.
Mobley against Whaley, jumper, too long, Book Knight. Now they'll go a little slower. Under 3 to go in this one. Still to come, Boston College and Florida. And Connecticut will call timeout. Huskies up by 4, 2:48 to go. ESPN's exclusive press.
UConn has the opportunity, if you continue to be the aggressor and do not play not to lose. There's a whole lot of knots in there. Don't play not to lose. Continue to be the aggressor. You can win this game at the foul line.
Don't worry, kids. We'll be clearing up all the grammar at the end. There'll be some footnotes to the program. UConn with 7 field goals this half. 5 of them are in the paint. Danny Hurley's team up by 4 with the basketball. John Sciambi, John Crispin, Roman Legends Classic. Still to come, BC and Florida. Lob here. Lord. And Book Knight, I think, was stepping on the baseline. He was out of bounds, and it's USC basketball.
That's one of those, look, it's a good play if it's there. If it's not there, there's nothing wrong with not throwing that pass and just getting it back out and getting a shot.
Give off now. Mobley inside. Evan Mobley the rebound. Edey a 3. Got to hit one of those. Martin grabs the rebound. And it's still Huskies by 4. I mean, they had opportunities there.
It's a little thing, though, with Peterson. Peterson almost faked the pass when it should have just swung quickly. Edey was ready in rhythm. When he lost the ball, fumbled it, and then threw it, you affected the rhythm of the shot.
Shot clock at 6. Carlton. Martin inside. Fight for the rebound, and they'll go possession arrow, and it belongs to USC. I feel like in terms of when there have been toughness plays, UConn has had the advantage in terms of ripping the basketball away. They're big guys, whether you're talking about Sanogo or Carlton or Whaley. They've had their way on the 50-50s.
I'd say just strong with the ball, strong with their bodies. Part of that is, too, you know, you scout, you know what you're going up against in terms of Evan and Isaiah Mobley, and you do have a little bit of a chip. I would.
Isaiah Mobley was calling for that. Couldn't get it to fall. They get the foul on Book Knight.
Team foul number 9 against the Huskies.
I don't know how many, even just here in Bubbleville, how many times we've talked about these situations where you're going to learn a little something about your team, and the closing situations are to me the most important, and it's the thing that's most lacking at this point in the season. Not a lot of practices, limited exhibition, no exhibition games. And now you kind of right in to high-level opponents. We haven't seen teams be comfortable closing out games.
See Andy Enfield having a chat with Donnie Epley. Isaiah Mobley gets 1 out of 2, and they're within 3.
It's interesting to see how long SC stays with his zone if they're down. Just have to create something with your defense, particularly if UConn gets a basket.
Cole probing, Bouknight, back to Cole, way downtown, off the mark, and there is Josh Carlton with a big rebound.
You got to think at this point, you pick up. You can't just right now. Basket almost feels like it ends it.
Shot clock winding down. Cole inside, had it blocked. It's a shot clock violation.
Why does James Bouknight not have the ball? Like, just some things, we say at the end of the game, you got to know who your guy is. Well, I don't think there's any question who the guy is on UConn. There's no reason why he doesn't have the ball in his hands. But when a shot goes up, and look, three-point game, you need the rebound if you're USC. You better come up with it. And this just points back to what you talked about, Boog. Like, they've won those 50-50 balls. They've kind of won the toughness battle. And at the end, look, I would go steal it from my teammate. If I'm James Bouknight, I don't care. Look, and I'm saying this as someone who got the ball taken from him at the end of a game.
Right.
But the bottom line is, in that end-of-game situation, you've got a closing plan, you've got a closer. James Bouknight should have the ball. You should get the heck out of his way. And part of that is on the kid. Yeah, he's got good demeanor. Sometimes you need to be a dog.
In terms of this whole time that we've been here, I don't know that we've seen too many guys surpassing Bouknight in the get your own offense category.
Yeah.
Put it on the floor and get your own offense. By the way, the last 7.5 minutes, it's 3-3.
Yeah, yes.
More good analysis coming your way.
Yes. I mean, look, yes. We got another game coming, too.
I love you. Peterson gets inside. No call. Kicked out. Bauman, that's a 3. Rebound. Mobley a 3. Can't do it. They had multiple cracks at it, and UConn hangs on to win it, 61-58. Wow.
Probably won that game with what you talked about. Maybe we should switch seats, or you should just do my job and yours. 50-50 balls, toughness, that's really where UConn won this game. A lot to clean up if you're Dan Hurley and crew. Good contest, everybody fighting, everybody going after the ball. It was a physical last possession.
Very.
Yeah, one of the smallest guys on the floor comes up with a rebound, and R.J. Cole.
How about UConn? A 61-58 victory. Good win for Dan Hurley's team, for John Chris.